Hi, this is Terry Kelly with the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service in Henderson County. A lot of you have bought property over the years that had apple trees on them. Maybe those trees haven't been taken care of in several years. Maybe you've seen trees that have been abandoned and they haven't been pruned. Apple trees need to be pruned every year to keep them growing properly and to cut the unwanted growth out of them. Sometimes we run across trees that have been neglected for several years and we have to renovate those trees. You know, for a commercial orchard, that's probably not very practical to renovate them because they'll probably never get back into the kind of production that you need for economic returns. However, we can, for homeowner trees or for trees that are special interest to us, we can bring them back into some level of production. I'm going to post a picture of a tree that's on some property that I purchased a couple of years ago. It's actually a tree that my grandfather planted. This tree is probably 75 years old and probably more. It was taken care of for many years, but then it was neglected for several years without any pruning. So I undertook putting this tree back into some level of good performance, and so we started that just this weekend, and so we'll show you a little bit about how we did that and how we're going to move forward with this in the coming months and years. So I'll start out by showing you a picture of the tree as it was before I started cutting on it, and you'll see that picture on the video too. All right, now that we've looked at the tree as it was, this is how it is today. May have a few more blooms on it than when the picture was taken because the picture was taken about a week ago. Blooms have progressed since then, and you can see we've removed some particular areas of the tree. Now I'm going to show you some things that clued us in on how to take care of this tree. I've got a handy ladder there that will help me to get to some parts of this tree. But one of the things I want to show you first, and if I climb, you know, if you see the picture change radically, you'll probably know that I fell off the ladder. But you see these branches that go straight up, like that one, even that one to some degree. This one up here, those were water sprouts at one time. You see these here. Water sprouts generally we prune out every year, but if they're left unpruned, they will continue to grow. And you see what we've developed here is a fairly long sprout that's probably anywhere from 8 to 15 years old now. And instead of it being pruned out, it continued to grow. But you see there's a long stretch there that doesn't really have many branches on it. It does have some at the very top, which are producing some fruit, but that's not where we want the fruit. We want it down a little lower. We also want the tree opened up some so that it can get sunlight in here. By having the tree in its unpruned state, it was producing a lot of little small apples. What we would like is a bigger apple and maybe not quite as many of them. But you can see there's a lot of work to be done yet on this tree, but we can't do it all at one time. We can only cut about a third of the tree in any given year. So let's take a look at what we did to this tree here this past weekend. You see right here was the first cut we made, and that was a big water sprout that went right up through the middle of the tree. You see how big that water sprout is? I can maybe put something on there to show you the size of it. Here's a pocket knife. Okay, so you can see that it's probably about 6 or 7 inches across there. And so we cut that one out first, and then we went on to cut some other branches out that were pretty much doing the same thing. It's kind of hard for me to show you exactly where we cut some out. There's one we cut right there that was going up pretty good. There's one you might can see right there that we cut out. And you know, as we come back in future years, we're going to cut probably all three of these here. We'll cut that one, we'll cut that one and this one here, and then we'll probably cut that one as well. Now ones like this right here, we're going to leave that alone, and it's growing just like it should. It's going to produce a lot of fruit. In fact, we see a bumblebee over there pollinating some of those blooms right now. But what's going to happen is there's going to be new growth produced right here where we've made this cut, and we're going to use that new growth to replenish the tree with new branches that will produce better for us than the ones that we had. You see there's some dead spots in this tree that we're going to eventually cut away as well. We're going to cut that out. We cut one dead branch out. You can see here was one that is dead. This one was probably died several years ago and fell off. But you see this conglomeration we've got right here is just a big mess right now. And until we get those pruned back and get some new growth on them, it's not going to be the kind of production that we want to get from this tree. You see another dead branch right over there that will come out. But again, you see right here where that water sprout is probably 6 to 8 year old water sprout, and there's just a long stretch there with no branches on it until it gets way up there. And remember, I'm standing about 5 feet off the ground here, so it's pretty far up there. And you know, there may be some fruit produced there, but there's just too many branches right there. They won't get good sunlight. They won't get you know, a good chance to set a good crop of fruit. So as we go back down here for just a minute, we can see kind of what we're into. Now, as I mentioned, you don't want to take but about 1/3 of the tree at one time. Missed a step on the ladder there actually. And you see what we ended up with was some pretty big chunks of wood. So I guess if we're going to have a barbecue this year, we can use those in smoking so that we can get some good apple smoked ribs or bacon or something like that. But we ended up with a pretty good pile of wood here. Now you don't want to, that's not what the objective is to grow firewood, but just to show you how much we cut out. And this is part of the brush that was left. But we didn't cut so much of the tree that it's not going to be able to sustain growth. We did cut some out, but the tree will be able to grow still, and then next year we'll come back and we'll cut some more. That way we're not putting the tree into too much shock. So hopefully within about 3 years we can renovate this tree back to where it's producing a nice crop of good sized fruit, and we can bring it back under control, and then yearly prunings will be necessary to keep it that way. But that's what we're attempting to do here with this Grimes golden tree. And so just thought I'd let you have a look at how we can take an older tree that's been unattended and bring it back into good production. This has been Terry Kelly with the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service in Henderson County, and we hope to see you soon again.